let us all do we can to build a better future. So, Chucky Boy Todd. Yeah, that's right. You know, he's on MSNBC. He's just telling, you know, that progressives should be quiet and that Biden has a mandate to diss progressives. Just to diss us. So let's just say, well, hey, it's over. The election's over. Biden doesn't have to listen to you guys. What am I talking about? Well, I found these great videos that were posted over the weekend by Case Study QB. Please follow him on Twitter. FaZe, let's play that first video of Chucky Boy Todd from Meet the Press.
With COVID, surprisingly, I want to talk about progressive and equality groups. They're pushing President-elect Joe Biden for more representation in his cabinet as he's been revealing his picks. Right. If he's not able to meet so many competing demands, what are the chances he will upset his own supporters before he even takes office?
Well, look, I think he's finding out how hard it is to please everybody. In fact, we actually spend a few minutes on this very topic as well this morning on Meet the Press. And right now, so far, nobody's happy. Some African-American leaders have been expecting more African-Americans to be named, and they've been disappointed. Some Hispanic leaders have expected more Latino cabinet members. They've been disappointed. The head of the Asian American Pacific Islander Caucus with the DNC has been disappointed with the number of Asians that have been appointed. So the point is, he's got some demographic challenges when it comes to diversifying his cabinet, and then you brought up progressives. I'll say this, I do think that politically, the president-elect, certainly the African-American community, he cannot afford to be disappointing the African-American community. He himself said it. He said, you had my back, I got to have yours. And so on those fronts, I think that's where he's potentially at the greatest risk. Disappoints, I think, the African-American community. I think his whole political coalition could come undone. Progressives, though, you know, that's going to be an interesting thing, you know, because progressives didn't want Joe Biden. Progressives actively worked against him, particularly a lot of progressives in California. So it's not as if Biden's going to actively snub progressives, but I don't think he feels as if he has got to work as hard to appease progressives as he does to appease some leaders in some of the other constituency groups we've been talking about.
I only chuckled a little bit.
You only chuckle a little bit.
So I just want to point out before Kit jumps in on this, I really have an issue with them equating demographics with political ideology. They're not the same thing.
Yeah. And, you know, before we play the next video, I mean, you know what corporate media and corporate Democrats, the extreme centrists, want to tell everyone, and that is they want white people, black people, Latino people, Asians, Native Americans, LGBTQ plus, no matter what religion you worship, they all want us to agree on the same thing, that corporations are good, and that, look, stop questioning corporations. That's what the Democratic Party wants us to think, that corporations are good, and so long as we have all these groups represented, that way we won't get any criticism from progressives. And the thing is, people are starving out there. People need a UBI. People need a Federal Jobs Guarantee Act. People need Medicare for all. It's great to have representation, but does the representation have to represent freaking corporations?
Yeah. And let's be real. This is not real representation. Representation is, sure, demographic diversity, but not just that. And that's what they're asking. What they want is they want some Asian person that agrees that corporations are great and free markets should reign forever, and neoliberalism is awesome. They also want black people that have that exact same point of view. They want Latinos with that exact same point of view. They want white people with that exact same point of view. They want LGBT people with that exact same point of view. They would rather have the same group of same thinking white man in charge rather than have a diversity of opinion, which is the real issue that's getting sidestepped. Why I had an issue with the way that they were talking about this in general in the first place. It doesn't, your skin color isn't all that's relevant. Whether you have 2X or XY chromosomes is not all that matters. It matters where you come from. It matters how you grew up. It matters where you grew up. And it's, I guess I'm happy that it's like, look at that. We're going from, hey, we should get all these like legacy, older, you know, Joe Biden style guys that are running things to, hey, let's just like spread it out to people that think just like Joe Biden. We need people that think for the people, not just the 1%.
And also, again, sorry to make you guys sit through this, but we're going to see another video of Chucky Boy Todd. Hang on, everyone. Brace yourself. This is the infamous Biden has a mandate to diss progressives.
I love that progressives are the enemy. It's going to keep the movement going.
Yeah.
So keep it up, guys.
Let's play that video.
It does seem as if Joe Biden's got an interesting challenge here. I think he does owe some representation, particularly to the African-American community. I mean, he said it himself. They had his back, so he's got to have theirs. But one could argue he has a mandate to diss progressives. Now, he probably can't get caught saying it that way, but they were decidedly not only not with him, they tried to defeat him.
Well, yes, and I think the message from Biden camp on all of this, whether it's progressives or concern from other minority groups, is we hear you, but we've got this. And he does feel like he has a mandate, and he's also facing the reality that President Trump did not face, which is that when he governs, he is likely to continue to face challenges from his own party. But he's aware of that, and he has said repeatedly, "Look, I didn't pull the wool over anybody's eyes during this election. I'm a moderate. That's who I am. That's my background, and that's how I'm going to govern."
Danny Pletko, a Democrat. Danny Pletko, a Democrat's moderate is still a conservative's liberal. And this cabinet that Joe Biden is putting together, though, it looks more center-left than it does progressive-left.
Well, it does in some cases, and Politico reported last week that national security progressives and far-left activist groups like Win Without War and Code Pink are now trying to coordinate their response to these appointments. They're trying to stop, for example, Michelle Flournoy, who's one of Biden's candidates to head the Department of Defense. They don't like her because she's worked with defense contractors, right. And I think that's what we're going to see, is that there is going to be pushback. Let's remember, all of these political parties, this happened with Donald Trump as well. Yeah. Once they lose that outside bogeyman, they become circular firing squads, and it becomes very hard to get stuff done.
Steve Kornacki.
Okay, so real quick before we play the next video, here's a mistake that people are that are ignoring, and I think corporate media is doing this. I'm seeing a lot of people on social media doing this too. They're thinking that now Trump's gone, everything's going to return back to normal. Listen, I said this before on previous shows. The Biden administration is not going to prosecute Trump. I'm going to say this again one more time. The Biden administration is not going to prosecute Trump. They're going to move forward like Obama did with Bush Jr. and like how Trump never locked Hillary Clinton up. It's one big club and you ain't in it. So just remember this. In 2024, everyone pretend to put on your shocked faces when you see Trump either run again or you see somebody else worse than Trump run for the GOP ticket. The Biden administration has said nothing's going to fundamentally change. Right now, again, who's more active right now? You got Trump supporters out there that are going to be very active and angry. They're not going to fall in line with traditional Republican politicians. They want their guy, and Trump was their guy. He could motivate a crowd. He has a following. They're not going to disappear overnight. And going into the midterm election, seeing as how progressives are being crapped on by the Biden administration and corporate media, left and right, including by the Democratic Party as well, yeah, hey, good luck in regaining those majority seats in the U.S. Senate and House unless you actually do something like universal basic income, Medicare for all, Federal Jobs Guarantee Act, preventing people from being kicked out of their homes. But the Democrats are going to be pragmatic about it. They're going to appease the Republicans. And you want to know why? And you want to know why they're going to appease the corporations too? It's because Biden is a neoconservative, neoliberal, 40-year politician. He's been in this game for so long. It's all that he knows what to do. And to quote Lainey Peterson, he has no imagination. He cannot bring in real change. Are you angry? What's it going to take for you to get involved that the two-party system does not like you? Let's play that next video.
I gotta say a point really quick.
Ahead.
I just want to, I want to give a great shout out to the great people at CNN for, again, having a cast of people that are so diverse yet have the exact same point of view.
Corporations are good, Daniel.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah, let's play that next video.
There's also a question of ideological diversity. Here's what Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says. She says, I think it's one of the most simply damaging things that could happen to the Democratic Party that would also absolutely imperil us in 2022 is if we had a bunch of austerity people or an austerity strategy, an austerity mindset. Can President-elect Biden, Jackie, assemble a cabinet that keeps his left happy if he is putting people who are not very, very progressive in across the board?
The answer is no.
Probably not. But the other thing Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said, that she does understand that if the Senate does remain in Republican hands, that some of these more progressive nominees probably can't get through. So there is a balancing act going on among the Biden transition officials to look for people who the president-elect is both comfortable with, but also have that ideological balance, but also can get through a Senate if these runoffs do not go the Democrats' way. So there are just a lot of considerations going on, but that is certainly one of them.
All right. So, again, folks, one big club, you ain't in it. And AOC, you know, I'm 50-50 on her. I'm disappointed with some of her current actions and her lack of really challenging the Democratic establishment. Mm-hmm. But she does bring up a good point of, hey, 2022 is going to be murder for the Democrats. Remember, Democrats walked into this election, especially on November 3rd, with a majority of 230 seats in the U.S. House. They walked out with 219. You think they're going to have 219 or maybe even more if they have this austerity mindset? I mean, here's the thing. You got Nancy Pelosi as a Speaker of the House and their leader. Yeah, they're going to lose because that's all what Nancy's good at. She's good at fundraising, but she's very good at making sure the Democrats lose any seat of power that they have, especially in California's 25th district, where they ran a pragmatic centrist Democrat. And what happened to that wonderful pragmatic centrist Democrat? She lost to a Republican. And you want to know why? People don't want to support austerity politics, and they're not going to support some Republican light Democrat. Oh, what? I'm just as tough on crime as anyone else is? No, people want universal basic income, Medicare for all, student debt forgiveness, medical debt forgiveness, a Federal Jobs Guarantee Act, ending regime change wars. I could list this time and time again. I'm repeating myself like a broken record.
It's alarming, I know.
But how much longer do we have to go through this crap? And again, corporate media is wondering, why are people protesting? Why are people angry? And to everyone that held their nose when you voted for Biden, you had to lift up your nose and you're still smelling crap. To everyone who ate that crap sandwich, why didn't you walk out the booth? If I'm giving a crap sandwich and a crap taco, I'm going to look at them both and say, you're crazy. I'm walking out. I voted third party, and there's no shame in doing that. When you fall in line and give your vote away, your power away to the establishment, they have every right to ignore you, especially if you're not going to make demands. You got to push back and fight back. Everyone, what is it going to take? And to all these other outlets that were saying, oh, we're going to hold Biden's feet to the fire. Yeah. How's it working out? Oh, right. It's not working out good at all. So when they start repeating all the, oh no, we got another boogeyman to worry about, I'm not going to care, and neither should you. Because you realize you're being used by Team Blue and Team Red, and they don't like you. Daniel, what's the final note?
Yeah, so we don't really have much to add on this. This is just another sad situation where, again, everyone's thinking basically along the same lines. As far as AOC goes, I very much agree with Kit. I do not generally like what she's doing, but I also think that it's her and Nancy Pelosi in office, probably her. Yeah, I think that the big takeaway that she's right on is that in 2022, the Democrats are about to get slaughtered because they don't know what strategy is, a.k.a. they like to go along and make sure the Republicans do things the way that they want. And then, of course, if they lose the House and the Senate, then it's like, oh, no, we have to go along with the Republicans and do what they say. Biden, sorry, he's going to have to just compromise with Mitch McConnell, who, as we know, is full of compromises. We're not in a good situation, folks.
Yep.